Hi and welcome to Visual Basic project of how to calculate the average of an examination math. So let me just demonstrate how this works. You enter the grade of a subject there and another one. As you can see, the text box is now disabled. This button is also disabled while the average button is enabled. When I click on this, you then see the average result, and if you click on final result as a first class honors, we can always exit or reset and enter another candidate's examination result. Supposing the other candidate's result is as follows or as follows. Let's just check out what this guy there. That's this other student's input. Okay, if we click on that, we now want to check the final result, and that is supposed to be second class lower honors. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is to take you guys straight into Visual Basic Development environment, and we'll put one of these together. Let's do that now. And welcome back to Visual Basic Development environment. Now we click on New Project. Now with this dialog box visible, let's select, or let's give it a name. I'm just going to call that VB underscore average. Okay, that's the name of my project. Make sure you select Visual Basic application and then you select application windows. Okay, let's see. I think we just call that average. Okay, that's the name. Right, now that our form is ready, select the form and go to the properties. Right there, the start position, let's change that to center string, and the size there, that's the size. And let's change the name, let's change the text name to average there. Okay, now let's design the form as follows. I'm going to need 3 labels, or 4 labels actually. One, I have a label there selected, then 2 text box, 1, 2, then I need 4 buttons and 1 list box, then we need 4 buttons. Okay, now I have all my components in place. The list box comes here, these buttons come here, and this here. Then we have our title there. Let's copy this. 1, 2. We need one more here. Then we also need 1 radio button there. That's our radio button in place. Okay, now let's design the whole interface, and let's change the font size. Select it all, come to the property. Let's change that to approximately 20 and change that to 20 bold there. Okay, this very one, we'll change that to approximately 36. That will be for our title. Okay, now for the buttons, let's readjust the size of this button that much and just copy it across. Okay, we have 4 of those in place. Alright, now let's change the name of that very label. Change that to calculating the average exam math. Alright, let's change this one there. Okay, realign it. There we go. So what I'll do now is to speed up the whole process. Okay, there we go guys, and that's how the interface look right now, apart from the label that is not visible. Alright, they all now have a name. So the next thing I will do is to double click on the exit or the quit button, and let's declare as follows: dim I quit as dialog results. Then we can assign as follows: I quit equals message box dot show. So let's enter our message there. Please confirm you want to exit system. Alright, please confirm you want to exit system. Alright, comma, then let's put the title there. We can just call it we can go for exams right in there. Let's just enter exams, and message box here, message box, message button dot, let's go for yes no, comma, let's go for message box icon, a message box icon to display an icon for us. Let's use information icon there. Okay, now that we've stored whatever we want inside IQ, the variable there, I quit, then the next thing is to use an if statement to check what the end user select. If I quit equals VB yes, you can just type in yes there, then application dot exit, and that's all there is to that. So that is ready for us. So if I choose to run this program now, there you can see all of these buttons does nothing. So if I click on quit, no, yes. So that is the whole idea of this. Okay, now let's double click on this form itself. Okay, on the form, before that, let me declare as follows. Let's say we go for option, okay, strict on. You can always disable that if you want. And here, let me ask it to inherit the system windows. Okay, system dot windows right here dot fonts dot form there. So in the form load here, in the form load right here, okay, to get onto the form load, double click on the form right there. Okay, I will then enter as follows for my object. So let's go for RB result dot checked equals false. The other one is, let's say RB result again dot enable equals false. Okay, the RB result, that is the radio button right here. Okay, so before we continue, let's declare two variables here. So I'm going to declare total as, let's go for integer. Then we declare, let's say, number of max as integer. Okay, now that we have those two declared, right in this form load, I'm going to initialize them with 0. Okay, so let's initialize the total as 0 as well. There. Okay, the next thing is, let's come here and double click on OK button. Okay, with the OK button, we enter as follows. I'll first of all declare a variable that I'm going to call number, and I will also assign integer data type. Then let's go for number equals, let's convert the integer value inside our text box, txt mac dot text. So the txt mac, that is it right here, this very text box. Let me move this so that you can see it. That is it right there. Okay, now let's go back into our codes. So whatever value is entered into this text box, because whatever value you enter in there is automatically converted into a string. Now we're converting it back to an integer. So let's go back and get that sorted. Then we'll say st mac, that's supposed to be my list box right there. That's the name, as you can see. Okay, dot items dot add my value, which is number. Now let's go for total. Variable total equals total plus number. So whatever is inside number is added to whatever is inside total. Okay, and then assigned to total. Now we repeat the same thing for number of max equals number of max plus 1. So this will be counting whatever is inside the list box itself. Okay, now let's go for btn show average. My btn show average, that is it right here. Dot enable equals true, because at the initial stage during my design view it was disabled. If you come in here, you'll see it right here, it is disabled. Okay, OK is disabled as well. Let's see, enable is false, and reset, I think I must have, yeah, I disabled that as well. Alright, let's go back into the code. Now the next thing we want to do is to clear the content inside the text box itself. Dot clear. Okay, we can clear it like that, or we can clear it using a different method. Dot focus. Alright, now the next thing I'll do is I'm going to declare another, let's say dim count as integer equals the list box dot items. So I would like you to count how many items we have on the list box itself. Yeah, that is it. So now check how many numbers I have on the list box. So let's say if count equals, let's go for 9, then text box mark dot enable equals false. btnok dot enable equals false. Then rb result dot checked, that's in this case will be true there, and that takes care of the lines of code we want in the OK button itself. So have a good look at it. Alright, the next coding I'll take care of will be the average. So let's come in here and just declare dim. Let's go for, maybe I should just call that average or mean. Okay, we'll call that, I'm going to settle for average. Dim average as double. That's my average there. So let's say average equals total divided by number there. Okay, now let's come in here and say txt main dot text. So I'm actually talking of this very one now. Okay, that's the name there. We now want to assign all the value in here into it equals, so we have to actually convert that to string dot to string. So let's look for it. That is it right there. Double click on it, and what we are converting is the content inside average. So that is taken care of. So now let's say txt main dot visible equals true, and lbl main dot visible equals true. For txt mac dot enable, make that false. Then btnok dot enable, let's copy, we made that false as well. And let's say btn reset, this one dot enable, we now have to make that true there. Okay, now let's do one more thing. txt main, this one dot text, let's format it into maybe two decimal place. So format the number here. Okay, and what we're formatting is txt main dot text. Okay, we can maybe format it into two decimal place and just maybe delete it later on, I don't know, but let's just give that a try. We can always delete it. Now the next thing I would like to do is to now check whatever I have inside average right there. Copy that. If average greater than and equals to, let's go for 71, then lbl result dot text equals first class honors, and all of this should be in a quote really. Get rid of this quote here and get rid of this as well. Right, done. else I'm just going to copy all of that. I can go for undo that. Let me copy all of this. I think it will work much better this way. Come right in here, paste that. If it's less than 70 and equals to 70, that will become second class. Second class upper. Yeah, second class upper. Then copy again. Let's find out of second class lower. And that's value, let's make that 60. Yeah. Now let's go for less than 50, less than and equals to 50. That will be third class. And let's go for 39. Yeah. And for 39, that would just be an ordinary certificate of education or higher, higher education certificate. Right. Okay. Have a good look at these lines of code. We just run the program and see what we've done so far. Okay. Now let's run it. It's not going to work because we still need to write some lines of codes in here to enable this. So for that to work, you see this very text box, we double click on that and enable btn okay dot enable equals true. We have to do that because at design time enable is false. Where is it? Enable for this button itself, look at it, it is false. So if we run it now, and as soon as we click in there, enter a value, you can see we are able to enable that. Let's see, we just need 9 item in there. Okay, let's see if we can add one more. You see that? So once it's 9, this goes off and this is enabled. We can get this. Alright, but guess what? The reset is not working. Quit works. But let me show you guys one thing before we continue. If I run this program now, let's see, look, I can enter. You see that? I end up with an error because that is not allowed. So we need to work on that now. You see the error? So to get rid of that, let's come in here. So let's go into the text box here, double click on the text box and make sure the cursor is right in there. Okay, select key press. Let's come in here, key press, and that's the event we want. We want the event key press. Then click in there and use an if statement. If ASCII, okay, e.KeyChar, right, it's less than and equals to 8. I think the 8 will be backspace. Then if the same ASCII key e.KeyChar, alright, is less than 48. 48 is actually 0, or e.KeyChar is less than 58. Let's copy and paste that. It's 57. Really, 57 is 9. Then you can always hold down the Alt key and in number pad enter 48 up to 57 and see what that gives you. That should give you 0, 1, 2, 3 up to 9. E dot handle equals true. So that means it will only accept numbers, not characters. It will not accept any A to Z. So I'm going to copy that. That is for txt, mark, and come in here, repeat the same thing here. Though that won't be visible, but I might as well just prevent it from accepting any other value. Paste that in there. That is that sorted. Have a good look at it so that you can use it in your project. Alright, now let's come back in here. We need to take care of the reset. Double click on reset. In the case of reset, you enter as follows: txt map dot text. You can always clear like this. Okay, then let's say txt main dot clear. That is another method. Okay, the other thing is we now need to enable it. Txt map dot enable equals true. btn OK dot enable equals false. ldl main dot visible equals false. txt average, is it average? Oh, I have it as main dot visible equals false. Then btn average, btn show average dot enable equals false. Then let's clear our list box. List box dot items dot clear. There. Now we also need to reset this very reset button itself. Dot enable, make that false. Now I think that should do it. Alright, those are the lines of code. So have another look at it. Let me take it up there. That's where I declare all my variables and so on. This is the exit button, form load, the OK button, and show average button. That's where I have my average calculation. Have a good look at it. Then here, that is where I enable the OK button itself, and here these are the ASCII code that only accepts numbers and not alphabets. The same thing here, and this is where I actually exit or clear my or reset my system. Okay, what we do now is run the program again. Let's run it and give it a try. We enter some value in there. we'll add the result of this candidate there and click on the average. That's 81 plus, and if we click on the final result, this is a first class candidate. And that is how you calculate your own average exam mark. With that, I'm going to call it bye for now.